Hi guys, if you were going to ask me to put these decimals into a numerical order, well, let's say we're going to say ascending, and that's the general one, so that's smallest to largest. I would employ a bit of a system, and the first part of my system would be to look at the first thing that's different. So these are all 0 point something. So the first thing that's different is the digit in the tenths column. So I'm going to split them into groups. So I know I've got 0.385, 0.382 and 0.364. So there's all my 0.3s. The next most sensible one to do would be the 0.4s. So I've got 0.421, 0.493 and 0.42. And finally I'll sort out my 0.5s. So that's 0.564 and 0.568. So I've only really thought about that first digit. So here's my 0.3s, here's my 0.4s, and here's my 0.5s. Three separate groups. And that's where we are at the minute. So in order to order, so that I can order these, I'm going to look at the next digit along. So they're all 0.3, so the next is going to be the 0.3 something, and I can see my 6 are smaller than my 8. So I've got 0.364, 0.385 and 0.382. And if I look at my 0.4s, oh, what am I going to do? That's about 0.42. Well, I can carry on, but 0.421, 0.42 and 0.493. So here I've got the 6s before the 8s, and I've got the 2s before the 9 on here, and I can't really do anything with those at the minute because they're both 0.56. So on my next run through, I know this one's going to stay the same from before, because that was nicely in position. 6s were before the 2 8s, but in deciding the 2 8s, the two things that are the same here, we've got 3 8, 3 8, but then going to the next decimal place, the 2 comes before the 5. So that'd be 0.382 and 0.385. Looking at this next one, I've got the 0.42s together, but how do I decide what comes first out of 0.421 and 0.42? Well, if I put a placeholding 0 in there, I think that makes it easier. The 0 comes before the 1, so it would be 0.420, 0.421, and then this one was already in the right position. For the next ones, they were both 0.56s. If I have a look at the next digit along, I've got a 4 and an 8, so actually they're in the right position. 0.564, 0.568. And that is the right answer. And I'd just like to just think about the process that I went through. Some of this you might do in your head, but my feeling always as a mathematician is if I'm organising myself and I'm writing things down, I won't be going backwards and forwards. I won't be rethinking and undoing and confusing myself if I just write down step by step. So my first step was get the 0.3s, the 0.4s and the 0.5s separate from each other. And then within my 0.3s, I looked at the next digit and realised that the 0.36 came before the 0.38s, and that's what I did on this level. And here the 0.42s came before the 0.49s, and here both were 0.56, so I just kept those written down. And then on my next level, once I'd got that the 3.6s were before the 3.8s, what I needed to do was, there was nothing more to do here, but I had to put my 3/8 in order by looking at the third digit after the decimal point. And here again I had to sort out my 0.42s, and realizing that if I put a 0 there, that makes it much easier to think about in my head. 0.420 comes before 0.421, and then the rest were all in position. So hopefully that's a gentle reminder into something that's quite straightforward, but you just have to make sure to do it section by section and not get ahead of yourself, because that's where people make mistakes. And try not to think of 42 coming before 421, because that really would lead you into all sorts of messes. You need to compare the same amount of decimal points. Okay.